Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to do a bit of a Cephalotus update. Now that late fall is here, early winter is going to be starting. You know, Cephalotus kind of go into these winter blues that most people experience. Loss of picture, sometimes they die back. People don't know whether to water or not water or anything like that. And I don't consider myself an expert on these guys, but I have grown them for a few years now and have reasonable success in the wintertime. So I just wanted to talk about my conditions and what my plans are for, you know, their winter care and what I can expect out of them. So let's move in a little closer. A few weeks ago I put up the lights for the wintertime, so I've left them on right now. It's sort of a rainy afternoon, and I think it's okay for filming. It doesn't seem to be affecting much on camera. But these are my cephs. I don't know how many pots of them I have there. A few different varieties. They're all looking quite nice. There's a few hints of winter. This is a picture that's failing, but you know what? You get pictures like that that are failing even in summertime. In fact, I find for the most part, I almost get them more in the summertime because of the heat. So these guys are on the south wall of my greenhouse, which means they get as much sun as they possibly can, natural sunlight. They are also on the warm side of the greenhouse, which has most of the heating apparatus. So the heaters are over here, and that means it's going to be a bit lower humidity than on the back side behind me where the nepenthes and the heliumphoras are. So it's a little bit warmer, a little bit brighter, and a little bit less humid up this way just to start with. And then what I generally do is they're all in trays this time of year. Although you can see the trays are pretty much empty. There's nothing really in the bottom. Tiny bit of moisture left, but that's about it. And I'm going to just leave that like that for a while. We'll come back to watering. I hooked up the lights about a week ago, and they seem to be liking it. Maybe it's been a couple weeks now, maybe even 3. Time flies when you're having fun, right? So anyways, these guys are on a lighting schedule where I think the lights come on at about 9:30 in the morning. And they go off at, nope, I'm lying. They come on at 7:30 in the morning and they go off at 7:30 at night. So they have a 12-hour photo period. And on a bright day, it is actually really bright up front here. So they are experiencing quite bright light. And I'm finding that that is the key. I have left them in the dark previous years. And by in the dark, I just mean with this normal lighting. Say they were growing on a windowsill with no supplemental lighting. And once they get into the darkness, the darker days of winter, without that supplemental lighting, they really seem to not do so well. That's when I find I have the most picture loss, is when the lighting is not so good. Now, as for temperature, it's definitely cooler in here in the greenhouse in the winter. We're heading into December soon, and my daytime highs generally are about 70 to 75. That's about 21 to 23 Celsius there. And the nighttime lows are anywhere down to 52, 53. That's about 11 or 12 Celsius. So, you know, they still have their cool nights and the room temperature days. I don't try to heat it up too warm in here just for the electrical bill. But anyways, they all seem to be doing quite well. And one thing I have noticed with the supplemental lighting this time of year is my cephs actually start to color up. So if you're looking at your ceph and it's starting to kind of slow down and it's starting to go what we would call dormant, I'll air quote there, dormant, it could be just a lack of light for the thing this time of year. Now I realize some people grow under lights, and I think the difference here is it does get the natural bright sunlight as well as the lights, so that the lights are just there sort of as a supplement. And I find even the newest pictures have some color on them. Some of the plants have brilliant color this time of year. Let's see, where's a nice one? Those guys are pretty nice there. That is just a typical form. This is, oops, bumped the camera. The first adult picture from Rare as Sand site, and look at the color on it. It's brilliant. I love it. This is the first adult picture from the red form. Nice as well. Red form has very red leaves to it right here. The Rare as Sand site doesn't have any leaves yet, so I can't tell. This one is a coal mine beech. It's looking quite well. And these two here in the big pots, they're typical. And as I say, so far for winter dormancy, what I'm seeing is one yellow picture on this guy and one yellowing picture on that guy back there. But they're still actually growing quite strong as well. I was looking at these guys the other day. I don't know if it was this guy. I think it is. I'm going to swing him around. And we're going to ignore the stuff on the table. See if I can get in close enough. Wasn't really planning on doing this, but see, so not only is there lots of good growth in the crown, I actually see new stuff breaking the ground. New heads or rosettes are coming out of the soil there. So it's going to be a multi-crowned one very soon. I think it has a couple of crowns now, but it looks like it's going to have a couple more soon. I'm not sure if that was the one or not. We'll leave that one out. It'll free up some space to look at these guys here. Could be this guy here, actually. There was one that was brand new. There it is. If you look at this guy, see right there, there's one leaf that has broken the soil. So there's a whole new rosette coming out of the ground. So I'm really happy about that. And let's just look at these guys for a little bit. So that's the coal mine beach form. First adult picture on that guy's coming up. There's a red form back there. Rare as sandsight. This is just a typical. Another coal mine beach at the back, or two. Way at the back there. We already looked at this red form. Loving that guy. He's great. This typical, looking fantastic as well. Really good, actually. Coal mine beach here, doing well. This was last year's seedling, so it's done quite well. A few more seedlings at the back there. Nice color on them though. They're not coming up green at all. You can see the red pictures. So we got Two People's Bay, and a coal mine beach. But yeah, so that is it for lighting, sort of. As for watering, I've just recently started the tray system here, and I never had the tray system all summer, or even last winter. I just top watered, but I've decided to try to use the tray system very, very mildly. As you can see, the trays are actually dry right now. It is just a quick way to add a half a centimeter of water to the tray, let them soak it up from the bottom, let it totally dry out, totally evaporate. The soil, as you can see, is still dark, it's still wet, so I just do the touch test. When the top of the soil starts to look dry, then that's when I'm going to add a little bit more to the bottom. And you know, being it's high humidity in here, reasonably low temperatures, I don't expect to be topping these guys up for at least a week. So they're just going to sit just sort of slowly drying for a week. We don't want to keep them too wet at all, especially in the winter time. But I try not to keep mine too wet even in summertime. What else can I say? So light, temperature. We talked about humidity a bit, a little bit drier in here. As for humidity, I mean, it's still high. Don't get me wrong. It's just when the heat's on, it's a little bit warmer and drier. Humidity is usually around 85% in here. And yeah, I'm hoping that they're not even going to feel the dormancy. We're going to keep the lights nice and bright. And I think as long as you can keep the pictures a nice, beautiful color, I think that's good indication they have enough light. So hopefully this works. I don't know if this is the end-all be-all. There is 101 different ways to grow Cephalotus. None of them are wrong. None of them are completely right. Everybody has their own way of doing it. So look at that right there. That's a good picture too. That might be the thumbnail. So one last look over here. Right beside them are the giant sundews, or king sundew, sorry. They are getting similar care. They're under the same lights. They're in a similar soil. It's peaty, but it's got lots of perlite in. They're in a tray, so I can bottom water them. But again, the tray is dry right now. The tray is dry, but the soil is wet. Humidity is nice and high for them, relatively. You can tell that because they have lots of dew on them. If they were under bright lights and they didn't have the humidity, they would be dewless usually. These guys need lots and lots of feeding or else the leaves actually get smaller and smaller. And they love this time of year. With cool, bright light like this, these guys are absolutely just thriving right now. Big leaf jumps. They're getting quite small for the summertime, the leaves. They didn't like the heat. But this leaf, like right here, is probably a foot long, maybe more. It's one of the bigger leaves again. And yeah, so they sit right beside the Cephalotus. But anyways, that's about the 10-minute mark. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a few things, or could use a few things that I talked about here. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.